Welcome to FM Live. Thank you for joining us. This week I am joined by John. Today's topic, we are going to be going over the 4 secrets to strength training for swimmers. This is definitely following the strength, flexibility, and injury management cornerstones of performance. So we are over there with Muscles Marinara today.
So let's get started. So today's presentation is on the 4 secrets of strength training for swimming. And I guess the reason why we're doing this is we don't think they should be secret. We think that people should understand this. And years ago, I had a swimmer that went back. We were designing a strength training program for them. And we're going to show you some of the considerations that we give when we design a strength training workout. And he had gone back to his local training place. I don't want to say which one it was, but he went back and they looked at the workout. He says, I'd like to do this workout in your strength training room. And it was just kind of an average gymnasium type of place. And they said, nope, we don't allow you to do any of that. All we need to do is get you strong. We know how to do that. And so you cannot do the workout that was designed for you because we know how to do this for you. Now you're going to see through this program if they did. You'll be able to tell right away if what they were saying was true or if they were a little confused and thought they knew maybe that they could do it, or if it was just kind of a rule that we don't let other people's programs come in. But the chances of somebody knowing this would be very slim, and especially at a level where they're not really experts at it. So let's go in and we're going to take a look at the 4 major considerations. There's more, but these 4 major considerations when you're strength training as a high performance swimmer or to become a high performance swimmer, this is what you're going to need to do. So, and the first thing, right, when we go through here, we're going to introduce the 4 layers of strength workout design, right? Why they have such an impact on swimmers and the critical role this plays in your future. So number one thing, and we've introduced this before, is we aren't just trying to get fit. And this makes all the difference because most people are trained for, when they're trained for strength training, is for general population, right? You guys aren't general population. You are trying to perform, right? That's what you're training to do. You're training to perform, not to get fit. Right? Somebody like me, I'm older, things like that. If I'm not going to race or something like that, I might be training for health purposes. But your muscles have to contract at a certain rate, at a certain intensity. Whereas if I'm just walking my dog or something like, that's not important to me. But for you, it's right. It makes a difference in your life. So let's go ahead and find out. Here's layer 1. And there's 4 layers. And this is the first layer on purpose. Okay, so it's not just that there's 4 layers, there are 4 layers in order. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do what's called event selection. Now, what event selection means is once you are, if you're prior to 8th grade, you should be training all your events. So there's a training muscular profile that trains the muscles that need to train for all events. But once you're in 9th grade, you now, or later, right, you now select your specialty event. So there's a different muscular profile. You're going to train different muscles to train for your event. So if I'm a breaststroker, for instance, I need more of what's called the adductor longus or the groin muscle, right in there. Whereas if I'm a butterflyer, that's not going to enhance my racing. So I need to be making sure that I'm focusing on the muscle and the muscles that are actually going to fit my event, right? And so that's what causes, right? The event selection is what causes your muscular profile. Now think about what I was saying with that other group. Would they know, first of all, maybe you could say, hey, I'm swimming, I'm going to be swimming the 200 breaststroke. Would that impact the muscles they train? I'm going to say generally, they probably don't know the technique well enough to determine what's going to be actually needed to select the muscles. Let's go to the next one here. And now we're looking for layer 2. So once you have your muscular profile in layer 1, right? In layer 2, you now need to get your exercise profile. what exercises do I do to strengthen those muscles? Because every muscle can be strengthened using different forms of exercise. And so this is going to be dependent on your grade. That means your school grade and your experience. And there's a reason why it's the school grade, not your age, right? And the reason why that is because in what we call the college, right, when you're in a pursuit to swim in college or beyond, when your college coaches actually look at you as a possible candidate for their college, determines where you need to be in your strength experience. So we're going to go down here and take a look. You would be taking, for instance, our Discover level, where you're just discovering in 3rd grade. Okay? Then you move to Explore. Explore is 4th and 5th grade, and that's when you're going to get your 10 exercises. In Discover, you're going to get 3 exercises, 3 basic exercises, just to get started and start strengthening. In Explore, you're going to get 10 exercises, dry land, right? Dry land exercises that you need to do to get yourself set up so that, right, this starts to progress. In 6th through 8th grade, you want to use your dry land variation. And that gives you another additional 20 exercises that you integrate. So you start getting that muscle from different directions. Okay. And it needs to progress it. Again, we're in up to 8th grade. So these are all going to be giving a baseline strength for your entire, right, and for any event that you do. Now in 9th and 10th grade, you start to specify because your coaches are starting to think, right, at this point, you're starting to decide, I want to, because your coach is going to start to look at, your future college coach is going to start to look at, how did you do between 9th and 10th grade in the event they're interested in? If you saw our program last week, you know that that's a really important aspect of what they need. So between 9th and 10th grade and between 10th and 11th grade, how did you perform, right? Did you increase and increase time? Did you decrease time? Did you stay the same, right? So if you got better between your 8th grade and 9th grade time, right, between 2.5% and 5%, that's a good thing for them. And then if you did the same thing between 9th and 10th grade, that's another, right, they're seeing these gains. And so that interests them. And then when you go to 11th grade, you should be now weightlifting, right? Because now you're putting on. Now, if you don't have experience with weightlifting between 11th and 12th grade, if you don't get to college with some experience of weightlifting, they may not be spending a whole lot of time with you teaching you how to do it. They may throw you on the weights, right? And then you see a lot of injuries because you haven't already experienced this. So again, in Discover, right, that's 3rd grade. Explore, 4th to 5th grade. Dry land variations, where you're now going to have, right, another 20 exercises. So that's a total of 30 exercises, because the Discover gives you the same 3 as the Explore does. And the Explorer gives you the first 10, right? And then all of a sudden you get into dry land. That's going to give you another 20. And then you can get those from different areas. Now you start to specify. So you go into devices. Devices, in this case, you can see like the guy has a medicine ball, right? Stretch cords, TheraBands, right? All these different types of devices that we use that would not be considered weightlifting, right? Then you go into weightlifting. That doesn't mean you don't use those other, you integrate what you learned, but now your main focus on lifting weights, so we can put more resistance on, so you can, right, be strong enough to do what you need to do. Now, one more time, after layer 2, do you think that group that we're talking about would understand that? Would they know how to layer this in and dovetail it? This needs to be all feathered in as you go. If they don't know how to do that, right? Or let's say you come, and Tori had asked a great question last week of Lisa, you know, what happens if you're in 10th grade and you're getting started? And Lisa's response was fantastic, which was, well, you better giddy up, right? Because if you don't get on the move, right, you're going to have to catch this up. Next thing you know, you'll be into your college experience, and you've got a lot of new things being introduced in college. You don't want weightlifting to be one of the new things you learn. You want to already have some experience with that, because you can get injuries and that can end your college career immediately. So that's really, really something to be careful of. Now let's go to layer 3. Now layer 3 is really important, and it's called customization. You'd think that would be at the end, but it's not. You know, you think it'd be layer 4, but I'll show you why. So layer 3 is customization. We do our customization, and we use a tool that we built called the FM race map to do it. Now next week, Nick is going to be presenting the FM race map, and he's going to go through and show you exactly how to do that. So I'm not doing that today. I just want to let you know that's how we customize your to you. So it's not customized for the swimmer that's next to you in your lane. It's customized just to you. And that way you're going to get, the race map is going to create your cycle count, right? And you can think of it as stroke count, but it's actually called cycle count, which is how many times you need to perform an exercise. And you need to have a baseline for what you plan things around. That'll give you your cycle count. Then you need your cycle rate. How fast, right? So a cycle might be, for instance, you know, when you put your arm forward, so the time you put your arm back forward again in the freestyle, that same arm, that's one cycle. In butterfly, you know, one stroke in butterfly, one stroke in breaststroke, or 2 strokes in freestyle or backstroke. That's your cycle count. Then you're looking for a cycle rate. It's how fast you need to perform those exercises. That way you start to understand a little bit about how fast you might need to train so your muscle can contract at that rate. And then you've got your baseline exercise or your max test, right? And that's going to determine what resistance levels you need for your training. You normally do those baseline exercise or max tests once a month, right? To get a kind of a new baseline. Am I at a new place after 1 month of training? Okay, so that's layer 3. Again, I don't think, and I might be wrong here, but I don't think there's any way, because we invented this race map, and I don't think there's any way that going to a strength trainer, that they're going to understand how many, or be able to figure out how many cycles that you're going to be able to need in your event, specifically you, and what the cycle rate needs to be. They can do baseline or max testing. I think they do understand, on average, they understand that, but they don't understand this. So the race map is really particularly important aspect. And this, by the way, this tool is comes inside your FM Fast Track tools. So if you're an FM Fast Track member, you already have this tool. If you don't, you want to become one. Layer 4 is your progression schema. Now, this is fancy words saying you need to design a way to progress, right? And you need to progress these certain areas that you need. So the first one, and I'm going to actually show you a demonstration of this today, is your seasonal phases. Okay, so we have this again. This is another tool that you're getting inside your FM Fast Track tools, right? Online tools, and your seasonal phases. So that's one consideration on your progression schema. Progression means, how do I get from my baseline, where I am today, to get forward, right? And get stronger, or get more muscle mass if I'm trying to get hypertrophy, or to get more endurance, right? In the specific local muscles that I'm trying to get for my event. And if your event is 8th grade or early, that's all events basically, right? And after 8th grade, it's your specialty events. Okay, so let's go on over and see the FM Fast Track online tools. Now there's a whole bunch of tools in here, and those tools are fantastic. They're great. They're all designed. They're invented by Fluid Mechanics. They're designed. Nobody else has them. They're designed by us, by our creative engine. Let's go in here. This is your FM training planners, and we're going to open those up. And you got 2 of them. You got an in-water training planner, and you've got a strength training planner. If you're going to do a strength program, you need this right away. Let's open this up. And it's so easy. Let's do it for the 100 freestyle short course yards. I'm going to start my training on September 15th, for instance, of 2020. And then I'm going to do my target race date is going to be on 3/15/2021. Okay, that's all you got to fill in. Create the plan, done. That's it. Now this can take, there can be lots of mistakes in this. This can take you half an hour if you're really good at this, or it can just, you have it here like this. So I'm going to build up for 14 days. And these are the dates I'm going to build up. These are the dates I'm going to focus on endurance. And this is going to tell me in the next layer what to do, how to plan. Hypertrophy, right? Strength and taper. And I believe, if I'm right, this costs, to get this whole set of tools, it costs somewhere around $10 a month. It's like $129 for the whole year. So let's go back here. That's how long it takes. Again, let's go back here. Let's take a look. Oh, sorry, I put the next page on. That was a college pipeline that's in there. Okay, strength training planner, right? All I do is pick my event. Let's say it's 200 free. I put in my dates, 9/15/20 through 3/15/21, and create my plan, and now I'm done. Now, if I want workouts, I purchase custom workouts. I just click this, and I fill out a form, and we create the workouts for you, right? We call and ask so we can customize properly and help you, right? So we're going to put you through some questions just so we know exactly what to do. And then if you need to customize, you can always customize this, recreate the plan, and you can change. If you don't want a lot of hypertrophy, you can just change those dates. So it's real easy. Okay, let's go back really quick. Take a look, and then we're going to show you the other things that provides. First of all, you did your muscular profile to find out what muscles you need to train. Exercises, you chose the exercises through your grade and experience, and we choose which layer you should be in, right? What type of strength training you should be doing. Then over here, right, the customization of the cycle count and the cycle rate. So important. That's essential and critical. So you get it right. Otherwise, you're training your body to perform at a different rate than you want it to. And this is constantly moving if you're moving your baseline, right? So you're able to do more. And that's the idea. Now, your seasonal phases. Here we go. Right here, that's important to know what you're going through. You're going to go through a buildup, endurance, hypertrophy, strength, and taper phase. And that needs to dovetail with your swimming taper, right? So that's all included in there. Now, the next considerations is how many reps should I do? Well, the reps are dependent on the seasonal phase you're in. How many repetitions should I do in each phase? How many sets should I do? Again, it's dependent on these seasonal phases. How much rest should you get? Again, dependent on the seasonal phase. And so in our strength training program where we teach you how to do this, right? And we teach you how to train for your events. That's it. That's in our video series, online video series on FM Strength. It'll teach you exactly what to do. And then what resistance levels, right? And that has to do with your baseline and so you're trying to you set your baseline to your goal, right? So where you're starting from and where you want to end up. And then that's where the resistance levels are. Let's say I want to get, 5% stronger or 10% stronger during this time period, right? So I set that up. Now that's what our program, when you purchase our workouts, that's what we do for you. So now take that into, right, your strength training gym. And if they say, no, we know more than that about it, you want to dig in and find out. Because I can tell you right now, I'm headed for, I need to go in because of this biking accident. I need to get a doctor to do an operation for my shoulder, to rehab my shoulder and actually to repair it to start with. I'm so fortunate that I had a friend of mine suggest that I go to one of the best doctors in the world. My dad years ago, he said, always tell me, you know what, you don't want to go cheap on your food because, right, they say you are what you eat. So don't go cheap on your food. And he says, don't go cheap on your doctors, right? Can you imagine getting like a discount brain surgeon? You give you $1,000 off if you buy their service. I think I want my brain surgeon to be the best in their field. And the doctor that I'm being able to see is the best in his field. And I also like it so, I'm able to build a relationship with him. So maybe my future swimmers, if they have a need or something to go there, I can recommend that person to them because I have a relationship with them. So these are You want to get people that are good at what they do as a point. When it counts. If your swimming counts to you, then you want to do this. And you want to know this. If you want to get out there and just kind of go through the motions and hope things happen, that's a totally different thing. I don't like to let, important things up for chance. So now you know the 4 secrets, which shouldn't be a secret, for strength training for swimming. And those 4 secrets include the 4 layers. Number 1, get a muscular profile. Number 2, get an exercise profile. Number 3, customize it for you as a swimmer. And number 4, make sure you've got a great progression schema, which takes consideration of all these issues. Otherwise, you're really just out, lifting rocks and not knowing what you're doing with them. And that's dangerous. And especially, they say some of the most expensive advice you can get is free advice. Meaning sometimes if you take the advice of somebody that doesn't know, sometimes you have to pay for it even to get bad advice, right? If you take the advice of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, you're going to be in pursuit of the wrong thing. Your time, right? Your ideas are off. So your time, such a valuable thing, is spent going in the wrong direction. The faster you go in that direction, the worse it gets. So now you know the 4 layers of strength training workout design, right? How they have such an impact, or why they have such an impact on your swimming, and the critical role they play in your future. If your future wants to be swimming in college or going beyond that, which a lot of our swimmers do, to represent their country internationally, get on TV, become famous, things like that, this is what you need to do. Okay, Tori, back to you.
Okay, so a lot of the tools that John was just running us through are available inside the FM Fast Track. So that's something we definitely recommend everybody takes advantage of. As he mentioned before, he was right. $129 for the year. That is just around $10 a month. It is a yearly subscription so that you have access to all of the tools that are inside the Fast Track. 2 of the ones that he demonstrated here today, the strength planner and the actual trial session for the strength program, are both included inside the Fast Track. And then once you have completed those, once you've gotten into that, you would be able to order the video series for the strength program, as well as the workouts to go along with the planners and the training that you're doing. So to get access to all of that, you can sign up on our website, fluidmechanics.net/joinfmfasttrack. You can always shoot me an email. Let me know if you have any questions about anything related to the Fast Track, what's inside it, how to order, any of that. And you can reach me, swim@fluidmechanics.net.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.